Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. We are celebrating this morning with Angostura on their 200-year anniversary. And they are actually hosting an International Distributors Forum as part of the celebrations. This morning, we want to welcome the Chief Operating Officer at Angostura, Mr. Ian Forbes, alongside Ms. Ruta Bagdonaite, who is the Brand Manager for Baltics and Poland at MV Group Distribution. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure to have you here. First of all, congratulations on 200 years of excellence at Angostura. And I'm really curious as to what this celebration of the forum is all about. So tell me a little bit more information about the forum.
Certainly. First of all, thank you very much for having us, and thank you to your viewing audience. So Angostura, our Angostura, iconic Angostura that we've known since we've been growing up, that company, Angostura Limited, is essentially 200 years old. And one of the things that has evolved with Angostura in terms of its relationship with its international distributors is that around about 2011, it developed an international getting together of distributors, which we call the Global Distributors Forum. And this year, because of our 200th anniversary, we've chosen to have this forum in Port of Spain, Trinidad, at the Hyatt Regency. And that is from April 17th and 18th. It's a two-day forum.
Fantastic. Now, where was it previously hosted? Because I imagine it would be all over different places in your different markets.
Yes, certainly. So we started in 2011, and for the first two occasions, it's every 2 years,
Right.
in 2011 and 2013, it was held in Trinidad as part of our Angostura Global Cocktail Challenge. So it was held sort of on the sidelines of that cocktail challenge.
I remember the cocktail challenge.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't realize the forum was happening at the same time.
It was happening at the same time.
Nice.
And then a decision was made from around about 2015 to have a separate convention. And that was held in Vienna, Austria. And then in 2017, it was held in Milan, Italy. And thereafter, it was held in Miami. And just after that was just before the pandemic, somewhere around 2019. And then the pandemic came, and we had our last forum in New York City just after the pandemic.
Okay. Now, I understand that we have over 70 international distributors expected to be here representing 37 different markets.
That is indeed correct.
And one of those markets, being represented, well, a couple of the markets actually, for Baltics and Poland, we have Ruta representing. Tell me about those markets in particular.
So they're located between north and east parts of Europe, and basically we sell the majority of the rums in like Baltic countries, but like Poland, bitters are very popular. People like to enjoy the cocktails. It's more like cocktail culture in Poland,
Right.
And it's like very big market compared to the Baltic states.
Right.
And then in Baltics, we're more about rums and like sipping, and because it's a very cold country during the winter, we have like minus 20 degrees in Fahrenheit, you can imagine. So we like more like rum sippers than here always like party. So it's warmer, you drink drinks with ice. There it's like more sipping and
So you're saying that it's two different products that sell more in the different markets in the Baltics versus Poland?
I would say yes, because in Poland, they know bitters for so long, and we've been distributing for so many years. So routes to market with the bitters are more popular in Poland. In Lithuania, everyone knows, but the population there is just smaller, so it's not that popular. Rums are the main thing.
And it's very interesting because you say Poland has been, they know the bitters because they've had it for quite some time. Tell me about some of the products that we export and where do we export them to?
Most certainly. So, of course, we export our iconic bitters.
Right.
And incidentally, that's been exported really, since...
World over. I was telling them early this morning that everywhere I've gone in this world so far, I have encountered Angostura bitters. Even people who've never heard of Trinidad and Tobago, they have Angostura bitters in the bar.
That is absolutely correct. So, on paper, we export to 170 countries.
Okay.
And that's the bitters. The rums do about 60 or 70 countries. So bitters is our top product. And thereafter, it's our rums. Now, I say our rums because people might think, okay, White Oak and Forest Park, no. No, what it is White Oak and Forest Park, yes, to certain markets, but a lot of our premium rums, which we call our aged rums.
Right.
So we're talking about 1919, 1824, 1787. But there are also some other rums that you don't hear or see every day, like our Angostura 3-year-old, our Angostura 5-year-old, and even our premium white rum, which is known as Reserva. So those are the rums that primarily go to the world. Of course, White Oak and Forest Park to certain markets, but primarily it's those rums.
All right, so I want to get back to the conference just for a bit. The purpose of the conference is to gather all the international distributors, but why are we gathering them?
Right. So the distributors gather, first of all, to interact with our international commercial team and our marketing team. That's the first reason. We gather to share best practice, we gather to strategize, we gather to innovate and develop plans for the coming period. We gather to learn from each other. So the approach to marketing in different parts of the world, you would imagine, it's different. So sometimes you can learn something about what a distributor might be doing in their market that you could apply to your market. So it's really it's a sharing and sharing of experiences. Additionally, you would imagine that because it's our 200th anniversary, the theme of this conference is celebrating 200 years.
Can't complain about that.
Can't complain about that. When did you first get on board as a brand manager to start distributing products?
So we as MV Group, we started distributing Angostura all the way back in 2009.
Okay.
In all 4 countries, and since then, basically we just kept growing and growing. Angostura would introduce new products, and we would take them on board. As like 8 years or 6 years ago, Amara de Angostura joined the portfolio. Then they launched cocoa bitters. So we keep increasing our portfolio, yes. And now this year we're gonna start selling the special limited edition, the tribute rum that Angostura is launching. Yeah.
Yes,
so
we'll get to that. We'll get to that tribute rum in a little bit.
Yeah.
But tell me about some of these strategies that you use to be able to sell the products.
So basically, all our countries are dark markets. It means we cannot do such advertisements as you do here on the street.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. We cannot do like window displays.
Yeah.
We cannot have morning shows that we can have now. Yeah, talk about alcohol.
All right.
So in all the 4 countries is dark market. So our main strategy is to develop and build the brand image in on-trade, bars, restaurants, etc. That's the place where we can talk to the bartenders, they spread the word to the customers. So we build the brand image and awareness there in the bars, and then we move to the off-trade, to the stores where people already know what Angostura is.
Right.
So we're already on the second path because the brands are very well known. And actually, last year, Angostura became number 3 best-selling brand in Lithuania. So we can't complain about the business we're doing with Angostura.
And you know, we always talk about things that put Trinidad and Tobago on the map, and I definitely think that, well, for sure the bitters is one of those things, but definitely Angostura products have put people into the minds of Trinidad. Trinbagonians have been in the minds of people everywhere around the world. Yes. Tell me about this tribute rum that you mentioned.
Sure. So the tribute rum is what we call a special edition rum. And we've done that special edition rum, meaning that it's designed, it's a limited quantity, and it's sold at a much higher price.
Of course.
Now, why this is special is that we don't often do this internationally. So the tribute rum, which we've done for Europe, is a one-off, and it's in itself something new. Okay. We have done other international launches of limited edition rums, and we had a series known as the Angostura No. 1, and we had different evolutions of that, at least 3 different versions or evolutions, where the rum was finished in different casks. And we did that for some time. The tribute is like starting a new series of special editions. Okay. Finally, what I want to tell you is that we have been doing limited editions in Trinidad.
Exactly.
And some of those are available at our retail outlet, Solera. Why do we do limited editions? We do limited editions to showcase our rum making capability. Everybody knows Angostura for bitters. Everybody knows Angostura in Trinidad for White Oak and Forest Park. But for those rum connoisseurs that want to try Trinidad rum and Trinidad blending and innovation, you can try our limited editions.
I'm really curious as to somebody, 200 years of creating these products, there would be some challenges along the way. Tell me about some of the things that would have put some bumps in the road that you guys would have had to overcome to be able to say, yes, we are able to celebrate this 200 years proudly.
Certainly. I I think the history of the company in itself is very diverse and would have had challenges along the way. And I'll just give it to you like the 30-second version. Bitters was actually invented by a German surgeon, born in Germany, trained as a surgeon, a doctor in Germany, but he found himself in Venezuela, and he was working alongside Simon Bolivar during their war for independence. He came up with the recipe, and he came up with the recipe to soothe stomachs and soothe upset stomachs for soldiers. And after his army days, he went into production. His first export markets for bitters was actually Trinidad and England. And that's where it all started. At some point in time, his oldest son came to Trinidad, and they bought a building on George Street, Port of Spain, and they started from there. The history of the company was fraught with ups and downs. You have boom and bust in a long history. The bottom line is that we are still standing today, and the most important thing is his oldest son, Carlos Sigurd, really marketed Angostura bitters globally. He took part in competitions. He won competitions all over the world in the late 1800s, and that's where it all started. That could not have been easy. To leave Trinidad by ship for months, miss your family, and be promoting this bitters. He's the one who started the roadshow that made this product such a global product.
You know, sorry, I didn't even know about that history of the product and the beginnings of it. So it's really nice that you were able to share that. I'm sure there's some other people who may not have known either. And of course, in 200 years of history, we have lots of things like that. In terms of using the product itself, when it comes to the various cocktails, you mentioned the cocktails in Poland, but you mentioned the sipping in the Baltics. And I'm really curious as to when you said that those products are the most popular products in those different places. But what are some of the challenges that you would encounter besides the going dark, the dark market, of course?
That's a fun thing, but I think the biggest challenge is excise tax increase every year.
Oh.
So because our countries are very strict with the alcohol law, so they keep increasing taxes. So basically, they keep increasing prices. So, but we have a huge support from Angostura, so we try to work it out with this. But I would say COVID was a very challenging period as well for the sales. But we took an opportunity to list our products, Angostura products, to off-trade to the retailers. So we actually worked real well that year. So it was the struggle at the beginning of the year, but after it was always smooth. We keep like building and developing the business. So I cannot say that we faced many challenges. We always try to find a way if something happens. Let's say the biggest challenge is out of stock. That doesn't really happen, so it's good on that thing. So
okay, definitely, fine. And it's nice that you guys have the opportunity to pivot when the challenges do arise. Tell me some of the places that we distribute to.
Almost certainly. So 170 countries. But let's say among those countries, those that are represented here at the conference. So the Baltics and Poland, represented by Ruta. New Zealand, Australia, Switzerland, France, of course, United States and United Kingdom.
Germany.
Germany,
Denmark, all the Europe.
And also, I've seen on this list here, Belgium, South Africa, Switzerland.
And don't forget Grenada, Barbados, Suriname, Guyana, Antigua, of course.
US as well.
US, of course.
Yeah.
And in terms of the conference itself, but besides the fact that it's a 200-year anniversary, what makes this one so special?
It makes it special because we're happy to have our out-of-town guests celebrating with us. That's the reason why it's really being hosted here. So we want them to be part of that occasion because they are international partners. They represent this brand, which in our heart represents Trinidad and Tobago. So in a sense, they should know and experience Trinidad and Tobago, its culture, its people. They should come to see the company itself. They should see where bitters is made. They should see where the rums are made. So it's for those reasons that we chose to share this experience with our distributors, whom we view as our partners.
So the experience is not just about the conference for the partners?
No, it's not. It is more than that. It's the conference, the formal part, but it's also visiting the manufacturing facility, but it's also exposing them to the culture of Trinidad and Tobago. So we do have a cultural night. And at some point in time, we may even expose some of those who can make it to beautiful Tobago. After all, it's a twin island republic.
Of course.
So it's Trinidad and Tobago. So we want to give them the full experience of who we are.
Nice. And in terms of when you talk about the manufacturing side of things, I know people oftentimes might just take it for granted because we here to drink the rum. We're not here for much else. We're here for the rum. We're here for the bitters. But in terms of the manufacturing side of it, I mean, I know the team is always very hardworking. Like you said, you know, we would be developing different editions of the rum, different casks, and all those sorts of details.
Yes.
How often is the team, I want to say, recognized and appreciated, and how does Angostura continue to show that appreciation for the team, the workers, of course the distributors, but definitely the team on the ground here as well?
Okay, understood. So Angostura does that in several ways. First of all, Angostura understands that it's people that make this company. This company, first of all, has a lot of families working for it. It's in that 200 years, there is a sense of ownership by workers. Some of them will tell you, my grandfather worked here, my grandmother, my great aunt. So there's that family aspect. Then the workers themselves are proud of the brand that they represent, of its legacy, its history, its innovation. So they wear it proudly. They're proud to say, I work for Angostura.
Yeah.
That's one aspect. We recognize our employees, we engage our employees, we know that Angostura is nothing without its employees. Another team that I want to recognize is all of the persons behind the scene that come together to make this happen. And that's, okay, the maintenance staff, the bottling staff, the marketing and commercial staff, but also the laboratory staff, the blenders, the guys who make and blend the rum, the guys in the still, the guys who work in the cooperage. Now, we have something called a cooperage where people repair casks because rum ages in casks.
Yeah.
So we actually have a place where we fill, empty, and maintain those casks. So I want to say a big shout out to the guys in the cooperage. All right, and they are really special because that's where the magic of rum making happens. So we all come together to make this happen, and this is what we want to share with our visitors.
Fantastic. So before you started working with MV, did you know about Trinidad and Tobago?
Oh, yes. So when I lived 10 years ago in London, I used to go to one bar, and I used to drink only one drink, and apparently it was made with Angostura in 1919. And actually, everyone knew in my country that I love Angostura, and that's why they invited me to work for that distribution company. So that's a long history behind.
Nice. So that just kind of works out perfectly for you, right?
True.
And how have you been enjoying Trinidad and Tobago so far?
I love it. It's my second time here. I had an honor to attend before the pandemic, the Carnival.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you had the full experience.
Full on. So I was very happy that they decided to host it here in Trinidad, Port of Spain, because everything feels familiar. So I'm happy to be back.
Nice.
Although Pitin is not the carnival season, but we still enjoy the beach.
There's a whole different energy when it's not carnival.
Oh, yeah. But it's a good balance.
Yeah. I think so too. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Forbes, any words that you want to leave with Trinidad and Tobago as we celebrate 200 years?
Yes. First of all, thank you for having us.
Not a problem.
And I would like to say that Angostura is truly a Trinidadian brand. It represents us. It's global. It represents not just the company, but it represents the people of Trinidad and Tobago when it goes out there. And every single one of us, we are proud when we see anything from Angostura in a bar or anywhere out there. We feel that this represents us. So that's what I want to put out there. So thank you for that.
Nice. So Ruta mentioned that 1919 was her drink of choice. Yeah. Which one is yours?
I'm an 1824 guy.
We could lie. We could lie. Yeah, we could lie. I like the 1834. I can't tell a lie. Ladies and gentlemen, Angostura celebrates 200 years. They are hosting a conference. The International Distributors Conference is happening on the 17th and 18th. I imagine this is not a public event. This is for your distributors only.
It's for our distributors, but we'll get around.
We definitely will. But thank you so much for joining us, both of you, and do enjoy the rest of your day and your week and the conference.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Not a problem. Ladies and gentlemen, we take a quick break and we come back with more on the Now Morning Show. Thank you very much again to Angostura and congratulations on 200 years.